NIIT Limited did an acquisition yesterday. It was a small acquisition that they did. The management is now joining us, but it's a new venture that they have got into. Mr. Singh, head new business initiative at NIIT Limited, is joining us on a phone line from Delhi. Mr. Singh, congratulations on an acquisition. It's a small acquisition, but it's a new space that you're looking at.
Thank you so much. Yes, this is very much part of the transformation journey that we've started, and this acquisition will help accelerate our digital initiatives like StackRoute, DigiNext, and Training.com.
In terms of size of this acquisition, it's a very small one, right, to have any impact on the numbers so far?
Yes, the intent of this really was to bring the distinctive next generation learning platform that they have created, which has elements of semantic computing and predictive analytics, and combine that with the technologies and platforms that we have built. As you would be aware, today the first point of presence that someone encounters is the NIIT BRICS centers. And moving forward, we'd like to have a technology-based platform so that anyone, can access that. And at the same time, we will offer a range of solutions, learning solutions, blended learning solutions, which will combine online learning with very distinctive and unique experiences that are going to be on ground. So NIIT is uniquely positioned to offer both to our customers in the future.
As far as the digital learning is concerned, are you seeing a lot of queries, a lot of customers asking for that versus the traditional way?
Yes. In fact, NIIT has been a pioneer in this right from the early 2000s. Our strategy has been to combine our BRICS centers with a portal, and that's how we built our cloud campus. And we're now taking this to the next level with the latest generation of cloud and mobile-friendly, platforms. And that's what we wish to accelerate.
As far as, the digital space is concerned, can you just tell us how much would it be, not in terms of NIIT's numbers, but in terms of the overall learning space, how much contribution would it be and what's the growth rate that we are looking at?
See, we do know is that many of the surveys show that at some point or the other, almost 60-70% of learners are using some element of learning, through online offerings, whether it's completely free or whether it's paid. So it is coming into the habit and the options that people are choosing, and this is part of a larger transition that is happening with internet being available on mobile phones. And it's very natural that apart from entertainment and gaming, learning is typically the third most important activity that people do when they're online.
And when you go on the digital way, the market itself increases, as a lot of people would not want to come via the classroom way. So the digital way market increases as a whole. A lot of people who are still, going out and working can do this at their will at the time that they want.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we found is that even when we promote our offerings, let's say in India, there are learners from all over the world who manage to find our offerings and come and register. And on NIIT TV, for example, almost 25% of the learners are from outside of India. And as you correctly pointed out, they're able to use time which otherwise would have been non-productive, whether, they're on a long commute or at their convenience late at night. So it gives the flexibility to learn at one's own pace at a time that is convenient. And the learning can be at home, it can be in school or college, it can be at the workplace. And this is the kind of 360-degree learning ecosystem that we want to create to really enable learners in the future.
And is the costing per student also lower in such cases? So that itself will get a lot of volumes?
That's not necessarily so, but it is, correct to assume that if some elements of the cost structure can be eliminated in the process and the learner is using their own infrastructure, then, to that extent, it's beneficial from a pricing point of view.
The acquisition that you have done, the process that you have so far now is very, very small. Do you expect a lot more acquisitions into this digital space, or any companies, any sort of existing sites or existing platforms can help NIIT grow better? Would that be one of the key things that you would be exploring?
As a leader, we're always in touch with a number of companies who work with us to provide larger solutions to our customers, and we're always on the lookout. Of course, over the years, we've invested significantly in building our capabilities, and so it really has to be something unique or distinctive that would excite us, and that's what we did find with Perceptron.
Whenever anybody would hear the word digital or e-commerce, the first thought would come is that they are burning cash. But can you just tell us the model that you're operating, and this model of education or learning via e-commerce is one of the most profitable business?
So NIIT, has been a user of technology in education right from its inception, and I've had the fortune of working with NIIT for 26 years, and every 2 or 3 years there is a new technology wave, and we look at how that can be meaningfully incorporated in our offerings. For the last 15 years, we've offered students the convenience of learning both at the center as well as outside of it, and it's just that the percentage or the mix is continuously changing. So from a very small amount of learning happening outside and online, we're increasingly seeing more and more of that happening, and that's a trend that will only accelerate, in the future.
As far as when we look at the break-even point, it was always judged by the number of students that are present or number of students versus the entire classroom size. For a e-commerce platform or for a digital platform, how should one look at the return ratios or break-even points?
Difficult for me to comment on that right now. One advantage that NIIT has, which is very different from a pure online player, is that there is a lot of learning delivery that is already happening using technology and face-to-face in our classrooms. And therefore, we have the unique advantage of leveraging our existing resources and commitments that we've made and enabling access to that through technology. And that's our intent. So in that sense, our model of blended learning is very different from a pure play e-commerce or online company.
Just a last word, sir. I know that you are in your silent period and you cannot answer. But say the next 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line, will majority of the growth come in from the digital business? Even though on absolute amount it may be low, but percentage-wise, it will be higher?
Yes, I think that is generally the direction that we're moving ahead with in each of our business. So whether it's our schools business or our corporate learning business or our retail business, we are investing in relevant platforms, and that's part of our digital, strategy.
Right. So thank you so much and congratulations on the acquisition and explaining it to us that how the entire new model of learning via the digital space would work. Meanwhile, as we were talking to the management of NIIT Limited, interesting flashes coming at the bottom of your screen about Bharti Airtel. They cut, and I read from the release that Airtel announces free incoming call on international